Good evening, everyone. We are back with another Facebook Live, and today it's going to be a little different. Today we are having a conversation with one of the finest HR practitioners that I've come across, Mr. IVS Ranganath. And the theme that we have picked up for conversation today is HR's contribution to talent development. And we will discuss about current situations and what all is happening right now. We'll discuss about HR overall in organizations, leadership development, talent development. All these will come as a part of our conversation today. And let me quickly introduce to you Ranga, as he is commonly called. He has about 20 years of experience in the space of human resources, and he has made a consistent, constant effort to contribute HR to business development. Contribution of HR to business strategies. How do we align these two? How can HR empower business? So this has been his strong forte. And let me bring him on board. So Ranga has worked in companies. He started his career with Asian Paints, then he went on to work with Coca Cola, Idea Cellular, then Aircel, then Signode, and now he is heading HR operations in Shriram Bioseeds, which is an offshoot of DCM Shriram. And very interesting thing about his profile is that he has continued to enhance his capabilities and skills, both in terms of leadership development as well as technical side of HR. One of the certifications he has is Six Sigma Green Belt in HR processes. Very interesting to know that. And if I start reading the list of awards he has won over the years, I think our whole Facebook Live will go into that, but I'll still mention some of them. One is 100 HR Super Achievers in India, then HR Shrestha Award, 101 HR Super Achievers, Most Innovative HR Leader, wow. Then he is HR Manager of the Year 2019 from Hyderabad Management Association. So a person who is constantly learning and growing and contributing to the space of HR as a professional. So first of all, thanks Ranga for giving your time to this conversation, and I'm sure everyone who is watching will benefit from your perspective. So shall I start offering my shooting my questions to you, or would you like to say something to begin with?
Yeah, thank you very much, Vikram. In fact, I known to you maybe last 4 years. We
Yes.
talking, and we met twice also in my previous company and in the current company also. I really always admire you, the way you are creating, the leadership, importance of the leadership, and in the society as well as in organizations. I'm a big follower of all your, Insta videos and your Facebook Live videos also. I think
Right.
one good thing, what I observed, that every day you come up with thought of the day. I think, reading quotes, something different, and sharing the perspective and experience, which always
Right.
truly a lot of convictions on my face, Vikram. And I really happy to, pleasure to be part of, to share a screen with you on a Facebook Live. And definitely, I think I would like to share some of my journey and experiential validations of my, HR learning experience phase, Vikram. Thank you very much for having me here on board.
Right. So as I was mentioning to you in the morning conversation that obviously this will remain on Facebook, but I'll also put it up on YouTube so that people can watch it later in leisure, and we'll keep on circulating this to audience who would like to learn from this conversation and your experience specifically. And as you know that now what I am doing is I have created an online program for career acceleration. And through that program, people come and join my program, and we continue to engage with each other for their betterment, their growth in their careers. And your perspective will also add to their thought process. And that's why, in fact, this is the first Facebook Live that I am doing with someone else.
Great.
Right.
It's my
And
pleasure.
I think you are the first person, and I think I've chosen the right person to start with.
It's my privilege, Vikram.
Right. So let us start the question answer session. And the first question that I have in mind for you is, what is the most important thing that you look for in the process of recruiting? I think you had some interviews today morning also. So what's the most important thing that you look for?
Yes, Vikram, in fact, the entire my life of 20 years of experience in HR phase, I might have met around 10,000 people in my lifespan, from starting from freshers to the lateral and the senior people in the organization. What I feel that, basically apart from the qualification and knowledge and skills, which is the most important aspect of individual to really bring and build a career in the organization as an individual, I think the attitude will play a very vital role, Vikram. The behavioral part of individual definitely would take lots of importance to build a right kind of career. I'll say always one of the important quote I always believe that, the knowledge and skills is just like a mere pizza base. Who wants to eat the pizza base? I don't think so. No one wants to eat a pizza base without any toppings.
Right.
No, one should need topping. The kind of toppings, the oregano and all kind of toppings that looks like very colorful pizza, then definitely one should want to eat that pizza. So today organizations are looking for those kind of toppings. Can you able to create the toppings? Which is the most important aspect, Vikram. I think, as I said, attitude will play very, very important role. Apart from the attitude, the adaptability and the flexibility, which is also most important and vital elements in the individual personnel to make the right kind of career. And as you know that pre-COVID, the kind of competencies which one should demonstrate, and the pandemic made us to learn a lot of things during last maybe 6 months. I think one should evolve as an individual, how to build a career both in a personal and a professional front. Today, the kind of competencies were there pre-COVID, which are absolutely obsolete today. I think one should have to acquire the right kind of competencies which is need of the hour. To name something like empathy, which is the most important today. So today organizations are trying to build that kind of empathy culture across all segments. And adaptability, today we are in a kind of situation, we need to adopt the kind of lifestyle, we all, across the globe we are facing this pandemic situation, and irrespective of the race, gender, culture, I think we are all victims of this pandemic situation. Having said that, we are the face of now setback to comeback. How that comeback will looks like, which really determines how one should evolve the holistic personality by adopting as I said, the empathy as a culture, the flexibility, of course, technology. Today we are talking today, that means the kind of technology we are in a phase, the disruption. I think these are the skill set which are very, very important. I strongly believe that, and even I always tell most of the people, you need to add value to your curriculum. As I said, the qualification and knowledge are just like a pizza base. So that's where
Right. So continuing on this question that you have answered, that we need the toppings on the pizza base. Only pizza base won't do. So how do you make an assessment of toppings when you are doing that recruitment process? How easy or difficult it is to figure them out? How do you find that whether this person is empathetic, whether this person is adaptable, whether this person has relationship building capability? All these, how do you find that out?
Yes, Vikram, today there are so many tools are available in the market, and also a lot of corporates also using a lot of psychometric test before calling for the interview itself. so that we will understand the employee candidate mindset. And also the one more tool is called BEI, behavioral event interview process. Even today, the most of the IT companies, any segment you talk about, so all the companies are trying to adopt these kind of tools, so that before coming to the interview itself, they get to know about the candidate. As I said, we know the qualification, we know what kind of skills he or she having that entire the career, but I want to know what is the inner side of the individual, which is the most determining factor. So I think by doing, for example, Thomas profiling is there. Thomas profiling, there were only 24 questions across the globe. I think it's a very, very fantastic, the tool, how you need to develop the tool. Any individual can answer all 24 questions, because what is there in the mind, the first thing come out which they need to answer, instead of thinking so much of, I think that gives a lot of disc profile. Individual disc profile, it will clearly identify what kind of skills he has, and how the intellectuality, the compliance and driving force and seamlessness. And I think these are the things we definitely could able to understand before coming for the interview itself. I think that's where companies are adopting these tools to identify the right skill set and the right person at right place and right time.
Right. So the message that goes across to people who are listening to us is that you cannot survive an interview, so to say, just by showing your knowledge. You will need to demonstrate through the tools which are used what kind of a person are you from inside, so that your innate qualities are assessed. So that's the message that goes across. Thanks for that. The next question
I just
is
want
that
Vikram, I just want to add here, people may feel that where should I get these kind of tools? Today, if you ask me, there are so many tools are online available, which is a free of cost. You can just simply go to Google and I want to test my personality factors, like P15, personality 15 factors of personality. P51, there is a 51 personality factors. Believe me, which is a very online, you can give all our answers. Immediately you will get the report from the system, where you can understand where you are, at this point of time, and where you need to develop. Just like the system will throw you a SWOT, individual SWOT. What is your strength? What is your weakness? What is your opportunities? Where is your threat? I think that's why people need to able to practice such kind of things if you really want to build a right career and a successful career.
Right. Great. That was a great insight for those who are either looking for a new job or career change. I think this information will be quite useful.
Absolutely.
The next question that I'm bringing up is, how easy or difficult do you think is it for new hires to adjust in an organizational setting?
Yeah, it's a really wonderful thought, Vikram. I strongly believe that today people are looking for experience. So those days are gone. I'm satisfied employee. Today you talk about from the recruitment to till exit. I think most of the people know that the hiring, engagement, performance management, compensation, training and development, and career development, and finally exit. The entire hire to retire. I talk about. So entire this process today, people are looking for experience. So how best I can get an experience? I'll give a classic example. For example, if I'm calling a candidate for an interview, and while a candidate arrived to the office, to attend that person, and is there any somebody is coming from HR attending that person and take him through, so to whom he has to meet and what time he has to meet, and is there is some kind of taking care of himself, taking care of that person. I think that's where the experience shows that. I still remember, when I started my career. In fact, I'm also one of the victim on that process. One of my boss. One day, there are around 5 to 6 candidates are waiting in the reception. I think my CEO walk across all the floors normally in the morning, and I think he saw at around 10 o'clock all these guys are sitting, And again 11 o'clock after completion of all the departmental visit, again he saw all the 4 candidates sitting in the reception. I think he directly approached them to, why are you waiting for? They said immediately, sir, we are waiting for HR to come back. And immediately, believe me, he approached me, Ranga, I think there are 4 guys are waiting for HR. I don't want to see any person waiting in the reception, not more than 5 minutes. I think that day I realized, that day I really felt that, I think how important we need to attend the candidate, because see, those days are gone, hiring is both the sides. See, you need a candidate, okay, and they need a job. You need a right kind of talent. So I think experience definitely matters, Vikram. I think today, and one more classic example I just want to share with you. And today all generation, even the young minds, the millennials, you talk about, if they call for any, if they get any call from any of the company, what they do first? They'll go to LinkedIn profile, okay, to whom they have to meet. So they'll, for example, they have to meet Ranga. They'll go to Ranga's LinkedIn profile. So what kind of Ranga? By seeing LinkedIn profile, they'll get to know what kind of personality he is into. They also go getting into the Glassdoor. So Glassdoor is the typical reviews, is the real-time reviews of the companies. We can't manipulate the reviews. And they'll go to Glassdoor about the culture, about the values, about the compensation. I think the kind of the preparedness of the candidate, before coming for interview. So that means how much, from the other side of the company being HR people, how much, readiness you need to create to create an experience to the employee. Okay, I think that's the reason in our company we have a very integration process, day one experience. We want to delightful experience for all the people who are coming and joining with us. And again there is a 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90, which is a very much tool we implemented. 30 days means the moment employee complete 30 days, there is an auto mail will go to employee to understand how you are going to settle in the organization. Hope you got your laptop, hope you got all the basic peripherals, After 60 days, one more mail will go to employee understanding, hope you got your JD, hope you understand about your role and responsibilities. After 90 days, one more mail will go to candidate, hope now you are totally settled now, hope your family, are settling in the company. So what I'm trying to say, Vikram, here, by having this kind of 30, 60, 90 feedback, that bounds to HR. If any employee rating 1 to 5, 1 is poor, 5 is excellent. If my rating is 3 or 4.5 also, I think there is an improvement to HR. I think I need to relook up my process, or how my team is connecting with the candidate, how much they settled in the organization. So these are the things which are very important, Vikram. So that's the reason I always believe that 4C concept. One is a K, which is utmost important, and connect with employee before making an offer, after making an offer, after joining in the organization. Connect will play very vital role, and communicate, continuous communication. To start the business communication, to engage with the family communication, to communicate with all the company's process, and finally, continuity. If you really want to believe that employee want to continue with you, I think this 4C will impact. And the same way, 3E concept, 4C and 3E. 3E, the first E is talking about engagement, how best, how effectively you are engaging employee. Engagement doesn't mean that you are just going and wishing the employee. How effectively employee is engaging with you. Number 2, experience, which I talked about you. And third one is that employee well-being. I think how much you are taking care and creating the hygiene workplace and the well-being of the employee. I think these are the factors determining the employee stay and stay, strive. Stay, strive. I think these are the things. I need to say, yes, this is the kind of company I joined. I have to stay. Yes, I want to stay in the company. I have to strive. Yes, I want to enhance my competencies to get a success in the organization. I think these are the factors determines, Vikram.
Right. So I will summarize it as 4C, 3E, and 3S. These are the things that HR has to look for, some of these things, and employee has to look for some of these things to continue to excel in their careers. Great. That's a great value add. Tell me, Ranga, have you had any experience of a bad hire, and how did you deal with it?
Yes, of course, Vikram. We do hire bad hires. I can't take a credit of all 100% hiring is a conversion to productivity. Absolutely.
Right, right,
And
right.
yes, we have a bad hires. And I strongly believe that if any employee leaving within 1 year of the organization, I think it's a
Uh-huh.
bad hair of the HR. Okay. Now, because
Oh,
no
okay,
one want
okay.
to, yes, of course, that's a dipstick for me.
Right,
If the guy is
right.
leaving, of course, within 6 months, absolutely is a gone case. And
Uh-huh.
even though
Right.
if the guy is leaving, want to intend to leave within 1 year, I think absolutely is a bad hire. Either you're not able to
Okay.
meet the aspirations of the individual, number one, or somewhere the disconnect of the employee and employer.
Right,
I think the
right,
mutual,
right,
somewhere we lost the trust actually. We
right,
broke the
right,
trust. Yes, of course, there are bad hires.
right, right, right. So you deal with them just by letting them go. Is that the best option, or is there a way to
Uh,
rebuild trust, as you just mentioned?
I don't think so. Letting them go off, Vikram, because that's a it's also the stature of the organization and
True,
the
true,
brand of the
true,
organization. Because
true,
today,
true,
as I
true. That's
said,
why I asked it. Yeah.
today the social media is such a available for all employees.
Right,
If I
right.
create a bad experience to any employee, immediately he'll go in the glass door, he'll make his own comments, and which I can't
Uh-huh,
manipulate.
uh-huh.
And it's a
Right,
word of mouth. He will go and talk in the forum. He will go and talk in the LinkedIn.
right,
The kind of experience
right,
we are creating the person, if he has a bad experience, he will do a lot of his own experience in the LinkedIn. That's the reason.
right,
See, that's the reason I told you the 30, 60, 90 will is a
right, right,
reflection of
right,
the employee's life cycle.
right,
It's a
right.
reflection for me. So where I need to introspect my process, that's what care, connect,
Uh-huh.
communicate, and continuity. I think
Right,
if I could able to manage all 4 C's in a right way, I think I need to have my own levers. I need to my own alarms,
uh-huh.
alerts. I
Right,
think these 30,
right,
60, 90 will definitely give some kind of insights for me, and where why the employee is leaving first of all. What is the mistake happened? Okay, so why the
right,
behavioral BEA is not able to read properly? Before making an offer. So I think these are the introspection has to do. Of course, I can't let it go for all the high bad hires. I can't simply say that, boss, these are bad hair for me. So I think I need to put a right kind of process and right kind of introspection. I should not repeat the same mistake, over a period of time. Yep.
right, right. Great. So coming to the people development aspect that is primary theme of our conversation today. So what are
Yes.
specific steps that you take to develop people?
Yeah. See, Vikram, today the people development is one of the most important aspect of all HR professionals. Of course, it's always been there, but after post-pandemic situation, today now companies also not in a position to hire the people from the market, and
Right,
even business. Of course, we need to understand the business growth and the business potential and business result we need to give. But having said that, how I need to HR has to identify the right kind of people in the organization. I think yes, of course, there was a lot of tools are there, Vikram. I think each HR person has to understand and what are the competencies of the each and every individual. There is a one important tool I want to mention here on this connect. There is a 9-box matrix.
uh-huh.
9-box matrix. So 9-box matrix in
Okay,
the x-axis you talk about the potential of the employee. In the y-axis
uh-huh.
you can say the performance of the employee. Okay,
Uh-huh.
if any employee, if any department, take a sales department or production department or quality or marketing department, if HR
Uh-huh.
head, if HR head and the functional head can sit together, if they team into this 9-box matrix, okay, that
Right,
means the
right,
9-box
right,
predominantly talking about the last 3 by 3, the corner, right hand side corner box, I'm talking about the high
right,
potential, and
right,
the before that column talking about the key performers, and the left hand corner the box, these people belongs to subject matter experts, that is
right,
SMEs, and below that columns talking about the contributors and solid performers and key performers, and below last 3 columns talking about the promising, the performers, and the left below column non-performers. So what I'm trying to say that if HR could able to map or plot all these the respective functional team people into this 9-box matrix,
uh-huh.
you could able to understand who are my high performers and who are my contributors and who are my promising candidates and who are my non-performers. This is the first tool. I think every HR has to do that. If you know that who are the high performers and who are the key contributors to the organization, I think then you need to come back to the next step. You need to identify all these high potentials and create a development center for those people, because any talent development also depends on the what kind of the business strategy you have the next 2 years, because today those 5 years plan not existing today. So what happened next year? So what was my target for the next year? Okay, to achieve my business growth, so what kind of talent I want to build in the organization. So what I'm trying to say, Vikram, here, if you're able to identify the high potentials, so you need to also have the development center in the organization, or you can also have external development center. Today there are so many tools are available in the outside of the industry, and you also need to create IDP. IDP is nothing but individual development plan.
Right.
So you already know that the guy is high potential within next 2 years. So within the 2 years, so what kind of inputs he has to get, what kind of trainings, what kind of behavioral or a functional training programs he has to undergo or she has to undergo. If you know the entire developmental plan, okay, so you also need to give some realistic projects to the individual. Okay, he has to work on this IDP, and there is a consistently feedback evaluation mechanism also. Of course, this is not only HR role. HR also has to partner with the respective functional head and the respective business head, and this is an organizational call actually. I think developing talent is not only HR responsibility, it's the responsibility of the business and as well the line managers. I think HR has to create the framework, and you need to enable the process towards all the people. I think
so. What I am understanding from your response is that it is a business need that we develop people, and HR is a facilitating factor, creating the metrics and creating the tools, and all that is done by HR. But it is the right. So the next question.
Absolutely. HR, of course. I would.
Yes, please continue.
No, I would rather say, because I don't want to use that word of facilitator. We are not a facilitators, we are enablers.
Enablers, okay, that's an even more powerful word. Right.
Yeah, because HR is not a facilitator. I'm not there to just give a form, send a mail. I want to be a part of the talent council team. I want to evaluate the person. So what is the capabilities he or she has, and where she want to go the next 1 year. So after imparting the training, so what is the impact of the training program? What is the return on investment of the program? I think HR has to be enabled. I'm the enabler. So I think I'm empowered. See, that's what, sometimes, Vikram, HR, is, of course, I always, I think it was the era HR is thankless job. Now today, if you ask me, most of the business, after hiring the sales and our marketing head, they're looking for HR head in the organization. Okay, because HR has to create the value to the people. HR has and building the entire talent on the organization. Yeah.
Right. Great. So I stand corrected that it's not facilitating; it is enabling role that HR plays in the development of people. Like that.
Yes,
like that. And the related question that comes to us is, and I'm saying it from my experience, it's not that it is just a notion that I have, it comes from my experience. Organizations invest a lot in developing hard skills or the technical skills of people. But when it comes to developing leadership skills, or we call it soft skills or life skills, not enough effort is made, and finding that leadership gap or leadership vacuum in the organization. So what is your take on this?
Yes, Vikram, if you ask this question 5 years back, I may agree with you. But today, if you ask me, see, most of the organizations are also looking for, that's what I told in the beginning also, and the importance of the leadership skills. Because today, in any organization, you name out manufacturing or retail or telecom or infrastructure, any ITES also, we are working with 4 generations. Okay, Gen X with a grey haired people, and Gen Y, and
Like
Gen Z,
me, right?
and millennials. No, I can't comment on that actually. I can't say you are a grey haired. Okay, okay. So we are working with 4 generations in the organizations. So understanding the millennial to Gen X, I think there is a gap. The thought process is a big gap. So that's the reason today organizations are imparting the training to how to handle the millennials. See, organizations are imparting, giving the training to the Gen X people, how to understand the thought process of the millennials, how to accommodate their thoughts in the organization. Because I don't want to leave my millennials. Because see, those days, because today technology is totally disrupted. And today millennials are coming within a short span, they're completing the projects within a short span. Whereas Gen X people taking longer time. Because their thoughts, their innovative ideas, their problem solving thought process, it's very, 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 very speed, with agile. Lot of agility they're showing, they're demonstrating. So in this juncture, I will today take my to our organization example for DCM Shriram. So what we did, so we send all the leadership team to IM Bangalore for 10 days of leadership exponential program. And we also given training to the middle level management, the personal effectiveness, understanding people, and interpersonal skills, and first time managers. See, we are giving more importance to on the behavioral front, because today, as I said, each and every line manager is a HR manager for the team. He has to demonstrate.
It is.
Apart from the knowledge and skill, what as a subject matter expert, he also need to understand what is the people requirement, what is the aspirations of the individual. I think definitely yes, today organizations are evolving and they're giving more importance to leadership potential, and they're creating a lot of leaders, because as I said which is the need of the hour. If I'm not creating that part, I may be losing the millennials, because without millennials, without fresh blood, it's very difficult to survive in the market. My competition is a shadow.
True.
I cannot generate any potential market. So that's the reason I think it's absolutely very, very important and need of the hour. Organizations are felt the need, and they're doing today in the most of the organizations today, Vikram.
So what I conclude from your response is that, and I'll take your organization as an example, that you are creating a system that there is no leadership vacuum at any level. And that is the kind of process that you are following in Shriram Bioseeds.
Yes.
Right. Great.
Yes.
Now, coming to the situation that the whole world is facing, pandemic, lockdown, and everything. So, what challenges did you face in your organization to make sure that there is an element of continuity in work as well as business?
Yes, Vikram, because of Shriram Bioseed particularly comes under Essential Commodities Act, and because of our industry into agriculture field. So government has given a lot of relaxation to start operations, and yes, of course, we had a impact. But having said that, I still believe that, I still remember that March 24th, government has declared the lockdown, and March 29th, in fact, I got the permission from the police departments to get some passes to operating my manufacturing plant, which was there in Kompally. And because we need to manufacture the seeds, and the seeds has to logistical, we need to supply to across all the country, because of our pan-India operations. And so yes, of course, we did a lot of as I mentioned to you again, the continuous communication, connect with an employee, care, empathy. And one good thing what we did in a Shriram group, particularly DCM Shriram, and we had an employee well-being assistance program, EWAP. So what we did, because people are working from home and there is a lot of mental stress, and they're also listening a lot of news from the news channels, people are losing the jobs, and pay cuts, no increments. So I think lot of agony was there. So what we thought that to substitute all these thought process, we had a associated with Silver Oak, which is one of the third party, where there are very specialized people in that organization. So they directly contact with the people, employees. They understand their mental agony if they have any stress. Not only employee, we also extended this program to employee families also. For example, any of the employee wife, she has a stress, because kids also staying at home. See, managing husband, one is one option, and again managing kids and managing home. There are two: work from home, work for home. Okay, there are two things which are playing very parallelly. So in this juncture, definitely there was what we felt that employee well-being, and which is the most important. And we did a lot of programs, emotional intelligence program for across all levels, leadership level we did, and mid-level management, and as well as employees also. And the continuous connect with, today technologies took a very vital place, of course, through Google Meet, through Zoom, through WhatsApp. We also, HR also connected HR one-on-one. Okay, we want to talk to you in a one-on-one, proactively understand, so what kind of problems you are facing, which we would need any kind of support from HR, from the functional managers. So that's where we across all levels, we created a platform of communication platform, and we also conducted some virtual tea parties, to engage them. And we also mentioned that, you have to enhance the hobby which is inside you. You never had an opportunity to perform your hobby. For example, take my case. I love cooking. I really this entire pandemic. This entire pandemic, I tried a lot of recipes at home. Entire lockdown, I created a portal called Ranga's Kitchen for lockdown. I think that's where. So that's where we engaged employees and also employee wives and employee kids, and we conducted a virtual Shriram Jayanti celebrations where employee kids also participated, and a lot of performance they did. So I think that's where, end of the day, Vikram, I strongly believe that, how much deeply you connect, I think which definitely look into employee, as I said, stay, strive kind of thing. And I very proudly can say that, in a decent Shriram Group company, we paid to salaries to all employees, even contract laborers also we paid, and there was no single layoff. Even there was a clear direction from the management also. Please ensure to pay all salaries with all statutories, everything. Don't get any layoffs also. I think that's a wonderful, system.
Right.
I think where we implemented entire this process. We are already opened our office weekly, 3 days we are working, and of course with a lot of security, lot of precautions. Of course, safety is much of the most important aspect in this journey. Vikram. Yes,
absolutely. So in fact, the next question you have already answered in this question itself. I was about to ask about how did you manage to engage your people during this period, working from home and work for home, all that. And you have already answered that, being proactive in figuring out what is likely to be my next question. The next question that I'm raising is that there is attrition in organizations. It's a fact. There is attrition.
Yes.
So what is it that you do to keep your attrition level below what is there in the industry?
See, Vikram, as you said, attrition is a common to all organizations. We should have the positive. We should have a healthy attrition. That's a mandate. We can't keep people all the non-performing. We need to differentiate people from that's what the talent development itself is a differentiate people from the competency versus person to person. Attrition. Yes, of course. We should have the minimum threshold level of attrition across the organization. But having said that, because our industry, particularly seed industry, I'm talking about, our attrition is very high, because just a matter of discussion I'm sharing with you, Vikram, because today there were around 300 seed companies are there in India, which are organized, unorganized, MNCs. People are, a lot of opportunities are there in the seed industry, and people jumping from one company to another company, depends on that. So having said that, yes, of course, we we have a lot of process mechanism in the process, how to understand the predictive analysis, predictive attrition analysis. So what I'm trying to say is, again, if I'm able to plot all the people in the 9-box matrix, I could able to understand, I could able to predict when this guy is going to leave the organization. So that's it. You can see the engagement pattern. In organizations, we all know that there are 100% engaged people will be there. That means they are totally engaged. They know how to break the rule, how to make the rule. They never quit in the organization. Whatever the task you given to them, they will fulfill the task. So that is we don't need to bother about those people. Ultimately, of course, we need to ensure that their aspirations. Second category, partially engaged. So that means they're 50-50 engaged. So they're thinking that whether can I continue this organization or not? Can I look for a change? So I think that's the reason the predictive analysis will come into place. Okay, you need to understand that's what the moods of the employee. What kind of mood is there in today. And the third category, which is the totally disengaged. So that means they always crib in the organization. They always say no, which is not possible with me. I have my own careers. I think these three categories of the people we come across any organization. I think you also might have seen your experience in a banking industry, and HR has to understand which category of employee belongs to in which function. I think that's where HR has to play very important role. If you could able to predict employee attrition, either if the guy is a contributor, is a promising guy, if I know that this guy is going to quit, I need to engage him very, very quickly. I need to understand. Hey boss, I think I could see that there is some symptoms, I could sense that. So what do you want? Why you stuck here? So conversation. That's the reason I always believe that Vikram, today that's why I made a caption also, conversation that counts. Every conversation. So you need to have a conversation. See, the more you engage the people, have a conversation, make him to understand, tell him why he is looking for change. So what made him to look for the change? And so I think these are the conversation definitely will give impact. And of course, you also need to enable the line managers also need to have the same kind of connect. And you need to work with hand in hand with the line managers, with HR people, to build a ecosystem in the organization. Okay. To predict people in a right time. So that's the reason if I always ask my line managers, if somebody says that Ranga is quit, I think why I'm surprised, why are you telling now? I would expect the same answer 1 month back. Okay, I think then I can sense that means you're not engaging him properly. There is a lack of there is a lack of engagement. So I think the connect and the conversation and the continuity, again 3C. Maybe the nomenclature may change, but the process may remain same.
Great. That was again another great insight, that you need to have a mechanism to sense where are people in terms of being in the organization or leaving the organization, and take remedial measures proactively. Now, this is a last question from my side, and then we'll open it up to audience for a little while. My question is, one of the important pillars of any organization is values and purpose of the organization.
Yes.
So how do you populate that amongst employees so that they are able to connect with the values of the organization and purpose of the organization?
Absolutely, Vikram. I think values are very, very important in any organization, because we strongly believe that demonstrating value and day-to-day operations, irrespective of any level you are into, and anywhere in the country you are working, you must demonstrate the values. Just to share with you, we as the DCM Shriram Group company, we have the values called I act on. I act on. I is integrity, A is agility, C talked about customer centricity, and T talk about teamwork, and O talk about openness, and N talk about newness. Okay. So I act on. It's a promising. I act on. So what I'm trying to say. So whatever we do, whether you do a business, whether you hire a guy to engage an employee, to do a trade with a customer, and a customer satisfaction service you support. So whatever you do, we must ensure that all these values has to demonstrate. In fact, Vikram,
Right.
I proudly say that, here also HR has to play very, very vital role, because HR
Right.
has to build the culture, because HR is the front end of the organization. So people join the organization, even though irrespective of any brand you talk about, people look
Right.
the brand, but before getting into the brand, they also look for the what kind of process, what kind of culture companies are adopting. Okay, which is a very,
Exactly.
very powerful
Exactly.
tool today. So that's what,
Right.
as I said, we not laid off any person. That's a value for me. That's value of the
Right.
organization. And
Right.
we not any pay cuts. That's a value, because we know that the pandemics are there. Pandemic itself is a setback. And further to that, I want to create one more setback.
Right.
This is not my
Right.
value.
Right.
I
Right.
think that's where, how the top down approach to till bottom down. And so Vikram, what we did, I traveled across along with my team, along with my business leads across all countries. I inculcated this culture of value system to all people. The person who is remotely working in a very remotely, like you talk about, Haryana, Punjab, Gujarat, small chota mota areas may also
Right.
we've been there, and we inculcated this culture of the value system. I just want to share
Okay.
here, we have a vision also, which are very, very related to people. What we're talking about, the vibrant growth with trust, vibrant
Okay.
growth
Okay.
with
Okay.
trust,
Okay.
energized employees, and delighted customers.
Okay.
See, if you can see the entire vision, we never mentioned
Right.
to increase my revenues 2x or 3x.
Right. Right. Right.
So we are only saying that we want a vibrant growth with trust,
Right.
energized
Right.
employee, and delighted customers.
Right. So you have taken all stakeholders into account here.
Absolutely. If all these
Right.
people are
Right.
happy, definitely my revenues will come. Definitely I
True.
can
True.
touch my
True.
top revenue.
True.
I think
True.
that's a top down, and the leadership team. This is the visions and values are there. And Vikram, I'm very proudly
Right.
say that we are demonstrating these values and each and every part of the system ecosystem.
Right. Great. Great. So now, audience, those who are listening to us, we are open to take your questions. You can type your question and I'll take it up. There was one question earlier, but it has gone up the scroll. So, Kapil, if you are still there, you can come back with your question once again. So you have been in Shriram for how long? Till anyone types out a question, so talk to you. Yeah, one thing I remember from your profile is you are one person who likes to interact with college students. So what is one important message that you tend to give them whenever you get that opportunity?
See, Vikram, yeah, of course, as you said, I always believe that sharing knowledge is learning knowledge. That is my
Right.
my entire career. I felt like that. I want to demonstrate that kind of thing. I interact with so many students across the country, and I always share that one should have the passion in the life. I think passion
Right.
only determines individual career. Number one. Number two,
Right.
that as I said, you need to have the toppings. I always strongly believe that the pizza toppings. You keep acquire your own skills. See, again, the
Right.
qualification, the degrees, the medals, and the they're all only your resume making. But we don't want your resumes.
Right.
You need to keep adding value to your
Right.
profile. So how much value you do
Right,
that,
right.
your profile. For example, the entire pandemic. So these are the skill set I have been learned. And these are the new courses I've been certified. And these are the new hobbies I implemented. I adopted. I
Right.
think that's where
Right.
these are new people I met. I think this is the way we need to look into the, your personal as well as professional life. I always tell
Right.
people also, you should have the passion, number one, and you should have the right kind of attitude, which again determines
Right.
your individual. So that's the reason I always tell the ask principle, ASK. A is nothing but attitude, S is nothing but a skill, and K is nothing
K
but
is for
knowledge.
knowledge. Right.
Even S and K can manageable, but A cannot manage. Okay. You have
Right.
high knowledge, low skills. I don't have any problem. I could able to acquire. I can impart your skills. Okay. Low knowledge,
Right.
high skills, no problem. I am there to support you on your knowledge. But high knowledge, high skill, but low on attitude, I'm sorry. I think we don't want such kind of people.
Right.
So that's what that's very clear, because nothing wrong. We can say that the person is attitude. Absolutely no problem. Yeah.
Right. So there is a quotation or hiring principle also, which generally is shared, that hire for attitude, knowledge and skill can always be developed.
Absolutely, Vikram.
Isn't it?
So that's absolutely, you're right. I strongly believe in that.
We are still waiting for questions, so I'll ask you next question and we'll see if any question comes. It's okay, otherwise we'll continue and then close the conversation.
Sure.
One question that I have to ask you is, it's a combination of two things. One is, which one is one of your favorite books, and what inspires you on a day-to-day basis?
See, one is that the favorite book, I feel that Who Moved My Cheese, So,
okay, that little one. Okay.
Little one, and Ikigai. So recently that Ikigai also, I read that book.
Right.
Ikigai, yeah. So how we need to keep yourself, happy note every time. I strongly believe that whatever you do, until unless I as an impact, I will play very vital role. Whether you study from business school, you impart the skills from IIMs, and you have a grade, you have a designation, everything is there. But unless I determines, if you are not able to perform, if not able to the flexible adaptability, empathy, I think these all things will not have any importance to your life skill. So that's the reason I believe that you need to keep aware about yourself, and how I'm going to impact in the society, in the family, and how make yourself happy at all times, and if somebody is unhappy, means I think there is something is there, you need to understand. So I think that's where the self-aware is the most important. I always believe that I always introspect myself where something is going wrong. So something is not happening, I think there is a mistake from my side also. Let me also understand, let me also introspect myself. I think that gives more aware, the more evolve. I think we need to evolve. So we in the sense, I need to evolve. If I am expecting others to evolve, first let me evolve. That's where the magical phenomena.
Great. So there is one question that has come, is sometimes team leaders don't treat their subordinates properly. And in such situations, what is it that HR can do? How can HR contribute?
Yes, very much. That's the biggest challenge for all HR folks, and that's what I said. The line managers also has to play very, very vital role, and HR has to counsel that particular team leader, and HR has to have a dialogue with the team leader and tell what is the consequences. For example, if you're not treating that, see, you also need to put them in a very confrontation mode. That's what HR has to have the right kind of skills also, because you need to have a right kind of communication, the right kind of dialogue, and you also need to have a conversation with the team leader. You need to be very specific, and you also need to mention that what kind of consequences if you are not able to manage your team leader, if you are not able to address the kind of problems your team is facing. That's what I'm saying. I am kept on telling, HR is an enabler. HR is empowered. See, in organization, HR is the only person can talk to anybody in the organization. He no need to take any permission to talk to any employee in the organization. So whereas finance guy, for example, if you want to talk to any other person, of course you need to approach some protocol. But whereas HR person can talk to anywhere, he can speak to anybody. So yeah, of course, consequences. So these things, definitely counseling. So we need to counsel them, because the HR job itself, you need to impart some kind of skills, make them to understand, and how to give the feedback, and how to give the constructive feedback. I think there are a lot of tools are available. So we need to impart such kind of tools to bring that harmony in the organization.
Right. Great. So I think this response will be able to satisfy the person who has asked this specific question. And Now, can employees themselves do something to bring it to the attention of HR that this is the challenge I'm facing vis-a-vis my team leader, and not at the cost of being kind of victimized for this?
Yes, Vikram. See, that's the most important element in HR has to create in the organization. See, that's why I said,
Right.
vibrant growth with trust. See, today HR's important role, I need to create the trust in the organization. So that means if any
Right.
employee is facing a problem with the manager or problem with the organization or problem with any other problem, so you must feel that I want to go and talk to HR guy. So,
Right.
that means it won't come like that. You need to create the trust. No, HR
Right.
should be able to come to HR. The employee should be able to come to HR and have a consent, inform the consent what is it, what he or is facing, and of course HR also has to build the trust, because otherwise you cannot go and directly confront the team leader. Hey boss, your team member has come to me and have a discussion. What is this? You can't do such kind of things. So you need to listen first, understand what is the kind of concern, and create a trust building process, and you also need to have a dialogue with the team leader. So generically you need to mention the kind of concerns I'm hearing from some of your team members. So what problem you are facing, you tell me.
Right.
So why you
Right.
made this kind of comment, so I think you also need to understand, you also need to impart some kind of skills to the particular team manager. See boss, again, that's what I always believe, Vikram. See, no one is bad guy in the organization. Okay.
True.
So all have a good intentions. So no one has a
Right.
bad intention. But how to make
Right.
that process, HR has to play vital role. See, today that's
Right.
the reason I told you today organizations are looking for HR support on building people capabilities, on building people development, on understanding people mindset. I think these are the things I would like to share, Vikram.
Great. Great. So one last question to close. What is your final message to whosoever is listening to us right now, or who will be watching this later? What's one final message that you would like to give?
See, rather message, I say that, I'm not reached that to, to give a message to people. Yes, I would only one thing that, aspire to inspire. I think that's a quote I always believe, that you should have the aspirations, and, you need to move out of your comfort zone. If you really want to magic happens in your life, if you want to see the magic happens in your life, I think you have to move out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
You be uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. No, not a problem. Get a failures, not a problem. But you should have aspire to really to get inspired to people who are looking to you. I think this is the only thing I strongly believe that I demonstrate entire my experiences, Vikram.
Great. So thank you so much, Ranga. It's exactly 6:30. We have invested 1 full hour, and how this 1 hour passed, I did not realize. And thanks for taking out time, and thanks to the audience who remained with us throughout, and people who will watch it later also. And as I said, I think within a day, this will get uploaded on YouTube also, and I'll share the link with you so that you can spread it across your network. So thank you. Every word that you shared, and I'll continue to look forward to having more conversations. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.